What 350,000 versus 600,000 versus a million gets you in the Woodlands, Texas. Most buyers moving to the Woodlands have a number in mind before they really understand the market. That number might come from a lender, from a home search app, a friend who moved here, or what they sold their house for somewhere else. Then they start scrolling online and everything gets confusing super fast, especially if you're not from here. One house looks huge, but it's outdated. Another one looks beautiful, but seems far away from everything that they would hope for. A third property checks off every single box until the tax estimate changes the monthly payment. That is why today I want to walk you through what 350,000, 600,000, and a million can realistically mean in the Woodlands area. We are not just talking about square footage. A budget here affects location, age of home, lot size, finishes, commute, maintenance, the neighborhood feel, and the amount of choice you actually have. By the end of this video, you should have a much clearer idea of which price range matches the way you want to live. Before we jump in, I do want to make one thing clear. When I say the Woodlands area, I am talking about the Woodlands and the surrounding communities buyers often compare during their search. This includes Magnolia, Montgomery, Conroe, Spring, Tomball. These are places that buyers start looking and they have a very specific area of what they want to be until they get here, and then it expands. They tour homes and they realize that there's so much more to see. Some want to remain close to the heart of the Woodlands, while others realize they can get more home, more land, or new construction just outside of it. Neither choice is automatically better. The right choice really just depends on your family, your priorities, and what you're trying to create with this move. So let's get into the $350,000 range. It's practical, it's competitive, and it's more limited than people expect. So around $350,000, this price point often surprises people in both directions. Some relocating buyers are shocked that they can still find a detached home in this general area. Others expect more because they are comparing it to a different part of Texas. Both reactions make sense. The Woodlands area is not the cheapest market in the Houston region, and buyers are often paid for more than just the house itself. Location matters a lot here, and access matters, especially to the freeways. Community design matters, demand matters. Around $350,000, you are usually looking for a home that works well, not a home that has every dream feature already in it. Many properties in this range may have 3 bedrooms. A 4th bedroom can happen, but you will probably be giving up something else. Square footage often feels comfortable for a smaller growing family, though it may not give you a ton of bonus space. An office, a playroom, a guest room, a gym will probably not all fit neatly under one roof at this budget. The kitchen may be clean and well maintained and functional, just doesn't have that magazine look. And flooring could be newer in one home and dated in another. Bathrooms often reveal how much updating has already been done. A backyard can still be very usable, which is one of the reasons this range appeals to buyers leaving more expensive states. The bigger question is not whether the home is nice. A smarter question would be, what trade-off am I making to stay at this number? That trade-off might be age, it could be distance. Sometimes the compromise is cosmetic work. In other cases, the layout may not be ideal for how your family lives. Buyers who succeed in this range usually know the difference between a problem and a project. Paint, that's a project. A roof near the end of its life, that's a budget conversation. Old countertops might bother you visually, but a floor plan that creates daily frustrations, that's going to be harder to solve. This is where I would slow down if I were helping you think through the decision. A lot of people get distracted by things that they can actually change later. The bigger money is usually hidden in the things that are not as fun to talk about, like the age of major systems or property taxes that deserve special attention, or maybe it's HOA fees that can really change. Insurance costs should be part of your planning, and commute time can make a less expensive home feel expensive in a very different way. At $350,000, the goal is not perfection. You are looking for the right foundation. Can the home support your current life? Will the location still make sense in 2 or 3 years? Are you comfortable with the updates if they need any? And does the monthly payment leave room for real life stuff? That last question matters more than people want to admit. A house that technically fits your approval number can still feel stressful if it leaves no margin. And for a lot of buyers, this range can be a great entry point into the area. It just requires clear expectations before you start touring. Now around $600,000, you get more choice, better layouts, and a very different search. The $600,000 range is where many relocating families start to feel like the market just opens up for them. You are not just seeing more homes, you are seeing more usable options, and that difference can matter greatly when it comes to decision making. At this level, 4 bedrooms become much easier to find. You'll get a dedicated office space, larger kitchens become more realistic, a second living area, a media room or a game room or a flex space. All that starts to be part of the conversation. Outdoor areas tend to feel more intentional, and storage usually improves, especially in the attics. The home starts feeling less like something you can make work and more like something that was built around everyday family life. And for many buyers, this is where the emotional reaction changes. The house no longer feels like a stepping stone. It starts to feel like a place where the next chapter could happen and it could be your forever home. People moving from California or from the East Coast often notice this range quickly because the amount of space can feel dramatically different from what they're used to. A large pantry that you can actually walk into is a big deal when you've lived without one. A real laundry room can feel like luxury when your previous setup was tighter in the garage. Extra parking, guest space, and backyard, all that starts to affect your daily life. And those features might not sound too dramatic in a listing description, but when you see it, you're like, whoa. During a normal week, they change the function of your family. Another major shift happens at this price point. You gain choice. At $350, buyers may need to move quickly when strong options appear. At $600, the conversations become a little bit more strategic. Do you want newer construction nearby or a more established setting? Would a large yard matter with acreage, or do you want a fully updated kitchen and bath? Is being close to certain daily routines worth choosing a smaller home? Could an older property with mature trees feel better than a newer home with less character? These are all questions that you start asking other than how much square footage can I buy? The $600,000 buyer usually has enough flexibility to think beyond the basic needs. That creates opportunity, but can also create decision fatigue, which is why I'm here to help you through that process. When there are more good options, people tend to freeze. One house has the kitchen, another one has the acreage, a different property has the location. The best choice usually becomes obvious only after you decide what your real priorities are. I like to separate wants from rhythm. A want is something you hope to have. Your rhythm is how your family actually lives everyday life. For example, a beautiful formal dining room might look great online. A larger mudroom can matter more if your household is in the season of juggling backpacks and sports gear, pets, groceries, and guests. A dramatic 2-story living room might impress people during a showing, but a better bedroom placement may improve your morning routine. This is where buyers need to be honest with themselves and with each other. A home can be beautiful and still not fit your life. Around $600,000, the biggest win is balance. You can get meaningful space without entering the highest price tier. Updates are way more common, not always guaranteed, really depends on the lot size. Location options improve, but you still need to pay attention to the exact placement. The monthly payment increases, but the lifestyle upgrade may be significant. Many families land here because the values feel strong. They are not buying the cheapest option. They are not chasing the most expensive one either. They are choosing the range where the house, the lifestyle, and the payment can work together. Now we start approaching the $1 million range. That's experience, setting, and way fewer compromises. Once you approach $1 million, the search changes again. At this level, buyers are usually not asking whether the home has enough bedrooms. They're looking at quality and setting and privacy, finish levels, and long-term lifestyle. The house itself still matters, but the property begins to carry more of the value. A larger lot with acreage can completely change the way the home feels and what you can do on it. Mature trees can create a sense of privacy that new landscaping cannot replicate quickly. outdoor living space may feel like another room instead of leftover backyard space. You might be able to put a barn or a shed or a workshop. Kitchen often become larger and more customized. Primary suites feel elevated, and storage tends to be very generous. Architectural details show up more often, especially because so many are custom built homes, and you start to see better materials, stronger curb appeal, and more thoughtful design choices. And still, at $1 million, that doesn't mean every house is perfect. That surprises some buyers. Even at this level, homes can need updates, especially if it's on a lot of land. A property may have an incredible location but an older interior. Another home might have luxury finishes but less privacy than expected. Something newer could offer modern design while sitting farther from the exact lifestyle a buyer pictured. Money reduces some compromises. It does not remove every decision that you'll need to make. The biggest mistake at this price point is assuming the most expensive home is automatically the best one. A higher price can reflect size, it may reflect location. Land definitely drives that number, and recent renovations can explain some of the premium. Sometimes the price is tied to scarcity, but before you decide whether the home is worth it, you need to understand what you are actually paying for. And this is especially important for relocating buyers and why we get to run comps for you. When you are coming from a more expensive market, $1 million in Texas may feel like a bargain at first. And that mindset can be useful, but can also lead to rushed decisions and overpaying. A home that feels affordable compared to where you came from still needs to make sense here. The local market has its own logic, and the monthly cost should still be evaluated carefully. Property taxes can change the payment. Maintenance on a larger home deserves real consideration. A bigger yard may be beautiful, but it requires more time, money, and help. And luxury living still comes with practical responsibilities. The best buyers at this level are not just asking, can I afford it? A better question sounds more like, do I actually want the lifestyle this property requires and offers? A larger house can be wonderful if you use the space. Extra land can be peaceful if you value the privacy. High-end finishes are worth it if they align with how you live. Paying for features that do not improve your daily life can be expensive noise. And near $1 million, the strongest homes usually create a feeling that you recognize. And it's usually in the layout. The layout flows. The outdoor space makes sense. The setting feels special. Daily routines become easier instead of more complicated. Guests can be hosted comfortably. Family life, it has room to grow and spread out. Everything begins working together. That is what buyers are really searching for at this level. Not just more house, but a better experience. So, why is the right budget not always the highest budget? Here is where I see buyers get surprised. Some people start searching believing they need to spend close to $1 million. After touring several homes, they realize $600,000 property gives them almost everything that they wanted, or somewhere in between. The opposite can happen too. A buyer may begin at $600,000 and discover that moving higher creates a more meaningful improvement in location, in land, in layout, or maybe long-term comfort. Neither scenario is wrong. The point is not to force your budget up or down. Your goal should be finding the price range where the trade-offs feel acceptable and the lifestyle feels right. A home search gets much easier when you stop asking one generic question. So instead of asking, what can I get for my money? Try asking, what do I need this money to do for my life? That sounds simple. It changes the entire search. And one family may care more about keeping the monthly payment comfortable. Another buyer might prioritize space for visiting relatives or entertaining. Someone else may want new construction because they do not want to deal with any projects after moving. A different household could value mature trees, established streets, and home with character. The budget alone doesn't answer those questions. Your life has to answer them. So this is what I would do before I would start searching. Before you fall in love with homes online, I would write down 3 things. First, decide which parts of your daily routine matter the most. Maybe it's mornings are chaotic and you need layout that reduces stress. Perhaps you work from home and office placement matters more than an extra bedroom. A family that hosts often may care deeply about kitchen flow and parking and backyard. Someone who values quiet may choose a different property than someone who wants a quick access to restaurants and shopping and activities. So write those down. Second, look beyond the purchase price. Monthly payments matter more than just the list number. Taxes, insurance, HOA, utilities, maintenance, updates, all are part of the conversation. A lower priced home that needs immediate work may not feel cheaper once you add everything together. Third, give yourself permission to compare lifestyles, not just houses. A resale home in an established area can feel completely different from a newer home nearby. A smaller house in the right location might serve you better than a larger home that makes every errand harder. More land can be amazing for one family and completely overwhelming for another. So those details are not minor, they shape your actual life after closing. So what does 350,000, 600,000, and $1 million get you in the Woodlands? At 350,000, you are usually looking for a practical home with smart trade-offs. Around 600,000, many families find the balance between comfort, space, and choice. Near $1 million, the search becomes more focused on setting, quality, privacy, and experience, whether it's lake or acreage. Every range has opportunity. Each budget also comes with decisions that deserve more thought than a quick online search can provide. The right home is not always the biggest one. A stronger fit often comes from understanding how you want to live before you decide what you want to buy. If you are planning to move to the Woodlands area and are trying to figure out which price point makes the most sense for your family, I would love to help you think through it. You can find more resources by just reaching out to me. Keep watching this channel if you're comparing neighborhoods, new construction, resale, acreage, and what life is like here, and also for general information about the real estate process. I will see you in the next video.